Hello, here we go again. We're gonna check the homework first. All right, first thing we're gonna do, so take out your homework, which is the sharpening skills there on page 110. All right, sharpening skills on page 110. Let's go through the answers here. Number 1, how many feet equals 1 yard? That's 3. Number 2, how many centimeters in a meter? 100. Number 3, meters, how many meters equal a hectometer? That's 100. Hecto means 100, all right? Number 4, how many decimeters in a hectometer? That's 1,000. Number 5, how many inches in a yard? 36. Number 6, how many centimeters in a decimeter? That's 10. It's only one hop, one space. Number 7, how many decimeters in a decameter is 100. Number 8, how many meters in a kilometer? That's 1,000. Takes 1,000 meters to make a kilometer. Right? Number 9, how many inches are in a foot? That's 12. All right. Now, number 10, the prime factors of 24. That'd be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, or 2 to the third times 3. Number 11, multiply 6.3 by 100. Hopefully you didn't multiply it out, you just moved the decimal place. You're multiplying by 100, so 6.3 times 100 is 630. Move the decimal place 2 places to the right because you're multiplying by 100. Number 12, find the gross profit for an item that costs $6.52 and sold for $13.81. All right, so if it cost you $6.52 to make it, and you sell it for $13.81, simple subtraction problem, and you get $7.29 is the gross profit. All right. Number 13, find the percent of games won if 6 games were won and 14 were lost. Well, you have to find out the total number of games first, right? Which is 20. So if they want to know the percent of games won, that's 6 out of 20 or 3 out of 10. Either way you look at it, that's 30%. Number 14, write the greatest common factor of 33 and 44. Greatest common factor, the largest number that goes into both of those. And that would be 11. Number 15, write 7/15, 28 over 57, and 14 over 29 in order from least to greatest. All right, so that would be, you start off with 7/15, that's the smallest, then 14 over 29, then 28 over 57. All right, from least to greatest. All right. Find the answers. Number 16, 3 7/8% of 16,300. That's just change your percent to a decimal and multiply. So you're going to multiply by 0.03875, and you're going to get $631.63. Number 17, 16 is 12.5% of what number? You're going to divide. You never divide by the is, you always divide into the is. 16 is, so it's 16 divided by 12.5%. Or 16 divided by 0.125, and you get 128. Number 18, 42 is what percent of 48? Okay, 42 is, you're given the is. It's a division problem. You never divide by the is, you always divide into the is. So it's 42 divided by 48, and it comes out to 87.5% or 87.5%. All right, so it comes out to 0.875, decimal place 2 places to the right, put a percent sign. That's what you get. All right, converting measures within the English system. All right, on page 111. You're converting things within the English system. You have to know how many of the smaller measure are in one of the larger measures. Right? So, as it says there in number 1, to convert from a larger unit to a smaller unit, decide how many of the smaller units are in one of the larger units and multiply. Large to small, multiply. Large to small, multiply. Look at number 2. to convert from a smaller unit to a larger unit, decide how many of the smaller in one of the larger and divide. So if I'm going from a small unit to a larger unit, see I've got inches and I want to convert that to feet, I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide. All right. So example 6.3. I'm going to take 5 yards and I'm going to change that to feet. I'm going from yards are bigger than feet. So I'm going larger to smaller. I'm going to multiply. But I'm going to multiply by what? I'm going to multiply by how many of the smaller are in one of the larger. There are 3 feet in a yard. So I'm going to multiply by 3 and get 15. That makes sense. 5 yards is 15 feet because there's 3 feet in every 1 yard. You have 5 yards. So you have 15 feet. Look at the other one, example 6.3. 54 inches is how many feet? All right. Well, how many of the small are in one of large? How many inches are in a foot? 12. Am I going from a small to a large or a large to a small? I'm going from inches to feet. I'm going from small to large. I have to divide. So I'm going to divide 54 by 12, and it's going to give me 4.5 or 4.5 when you divide that out. Okay? So that's how you convert within the metric system, or excuse me, within the English system. That's how you convert English measures. How many of the small are in one of the large, and then determine, am I going large to small? I multiply. Small to large, I divide. Practice problems. Look at number 1. 32 yards is how many feet? All right, so I'm going from yards to feet. Is that large to small or small to large? Okay, well, yards are bigger than feet, so it's large to small. So I have to multiply here, and I'm going to multiply by how many of the smaller are in one of the larger. Well, there are 3 feet in a yard, so I'm going to take 32 times 3, and that's going to give me 96 feet. 96 feet. 32 yards is 96 feet. That makes sense. 5 miles is how many yards? Well, again, that's large to small. Miles to yards. I'm going to multiply. Well, how many yards, not feet, yards are in a mile? 1760. So I'm going to multiply 1760 times 5, and it's going to give me 8,800. All right. Number 3, 72 inches is how many feet? So this time I'm going inches to feet. That's small to large. Small to large. So if I have 72 inches and I want to change that to feet, I'm going to have to divide by how many of the small are in one of the large. How many inches are in a foot? 12. So 72 divided by 12 gives me 6. Right? Now, let's look at number 4. 1/2 foot equals how many inches? 1/2 foot is equal to how many inches? Now, you should know that off the top of your head, all right? But let's see, applying the rule, how that works. 1/2 foot, so I'm going from feet to inches. I'm going from large to small. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply. I'm going to multiply by how many of the small are in one of the large. So I'm going to multiply by 12. So I'm going to take 1/2 times 12, and I'm going to get 6, right? 6 inches. Does that make sense? 1/2 foot equals 6 inches. Yes, it does. That makes sense. 1/2 foot is 12 inches in a foot. 1/2 foot is 6 inches. So work on the rest of those, getting those down. Spend some time figuring those problems out. All right? Your next homework assignment is the sharpening skills on page 112. That's due tomorrow. Again, have it done. We'll go over the answers, mark wrong what you miss, then take your picture and submit it. All right? So we'll be back again tomorrow to go over page 112, sharpening skills. All right, we'll do that tomorrow. Bye.